Hello everybody. So on 25th March, that's yesterday, I can see Venus moved from Pisces to Aries. Especially if you talk about the exact location, it started transiting from Revati Nakshatra to Ashwini Nakshatra. So this is a fascinating shift in energy. See, in the sign of Pisces, Saturn and Sun are present. These two are natural enemies. Basically, Sun is a kingly energy and Saturn is not a good energy for a king. So something like if you observe most of the terroristic events in the world, Saturn and Sun have they both have some kind of connection with them. So till now, as Venus is also present in that conjunction, Saturn and Sun in Pisces, it tried to stop some of the things because Venus is a positive planet which is very much famous for diplomacy. So to the friction of Sun and Saturn, Venus has been adding some kind of diplomacy, but now the diplomacy is moved out from the conjunction of Saturn and Sun from the sign of Pisces. It moved out and it is now in the sign of Aries. So we are moving from the very end of the zodiac Pisces, that is Revati, to the absolute beginning, that is Aries, Ashwini. So this particular transition is crossing the Gandanta point, of course, because the junction between a fiery sign and watery sign, or you can say just a watery sign and fiery sign, is a kind of Gandanta point. It's a kind of spiritual knot, right? Because that in that junction, water element meets the fire element. Both are of very, very different energies. So Venus is the planet of relationships, luxury and values make this jump. So this particular vibe of relationships, luxury and values is shifting from a kind of watery emotional side to a kind of impulsive Aries energy. So this particular change is very much important for the world and also for individual levels. But in this video, mostly I talk about the world generally. So Venus is very much comfortable in the sign of Pisces. Even at some point in Pisces, Venus is exalted, or it is always said to be strong in the sign of Pisces. Whereas in Aries, Venus becomes either neutral or becomes a bit active, you can say. And Pisces energy is watery energy. Watery energy in Vedic astrology is always considered to be emotional energy, whereas fiery energy is action oriented or very, very quick energy. And the Revati is a mercurial nakshatra, whereas Ashwini is a Ketu energies related nakshatra. And Mercury actually showed, the Revati actually showed a kind of completion or letting go of kind of ego or something. But now this particular Ashwini can heal some part of the world, but it can make the events very, very quicker. And even Revati was a bit, when Venus was in Revati, it was a bit sacrificial. It's a kind of poetic or dreamy, that kind of energy you could feel. But as Venus is in Ashwini Nakshatra, it's very, very direct. It's very competitive. It's a bit making the events very, very quicker. So as we know, in Revati, Venus is actually exalted. So it is in its highest expression of expressing this unconditional love. So the things were better so far. That's what I want to tell. but from 25th March onwards, you know, things are moving faster. See, when the Mercury became direct around, I think I made a video 21st March, I think. So that time, as Mercury became direct, there were some negotiations across the countries, and Venus was also with Saturn and Sun. So there was a diplomacy element added, but now the diplomacy element is coming out of this particular Saturn and Sun conjunction. Even though Mercury is in direct motion now, but it is still with the Rahu Mars conjunction in the sign of Aquarius. See, Rahu Mars conjunction is a very, very sensitive conjunction for the entire world, which can trigger or erupt wars, and Saturn and Sun conjunction is another terroristic energy. So totally, as Venus is moving out of Saturn and Sun, this should not be treated as a good sign, right? See, even when Venus was in Revati, basically Revati is very idealistic, a bit escapism. You can observe all those things. But now Venus is moving into Ashwini, so the dreaminess is evaporated now. There is no dreaminess. So you can clearly notice a sudden urge to stop dreaming and start doing, because Aries is more action oriented. Ashwini is a quick action. So that is things will become, even if you're thinking about some romantic relationship, the romantic energy in the world is no more a dreamy energy. It is becoming action oriented. That is one positive sign in individual levels. But as a whole for the world, Venus was with Saturn and Sun conjunction, but as it is moving out of that, now there is no diplomacy in this friction of Saturn and Sun. And Ashwini is basically ruled by Ketu. And of course, Venus here becomes somewhat detached from traditional love or traditional norms, but it seeks some kind of instant results. So Ashwini is basically this particular sudden healing also it brings here with Venus transiting Ashwini. So totally, I would say in individual levels, this can bring some change in the relationships, but as in the worldly level, I would say this is not a good sign. And as Venus was in Pisces, it might spend money on art or charity or spiritual retreats, but now as Venus is moving to Aries, it spends more on speed, it spends more on technology. So you can expect the countries would spend a lot of money on technology and self improvement also, because Ashwini is related to speed and technology. Now the speed of the things in which the world is moving is going to be a bit moving faster. The things would be moving faster. So that's what I can see. And what else I can tell you about this particular so especially in the days of 22nd March to 25th March, the energy was of course heavy with some closure, but relationships are focused now. It's more action oriented. The beauty related things are becoming much more action oriented. The electric and youthful energy of Ashwini is added to your relationship energy or the love energy, and healing is becoming very, very active to some parts of the world. That is a very, very good sign. And now this particular transition is more than just a personal mood shift. That's what I want to tell. It's a collective change in the world. In the world of Mundian astrology, where we predict world events, Venus represents the global economy, basically, and also diplomatic relations, the arts, and the general contentment of the public. So when Venus is is leaping from this particular mystical waters of Revati into the fires of Ashwini, especially on 25th March, the world undergoes a kind of rebranding. That's what I can tell. So the global market, if you observe it, may feel very very sluggish, speculative, or focused on bailouts till 25th March. This is the situation, right? The global market was very sluggish. It was feeling a bit sluggish and speculative, and so that was the situation. Kind of leaky finances, I would say, in the watery energy of Revati. So that was the situation. But now the Ashwini shift, that is from today onwards, 26th March onwards, you can expect a sudden surge in startup culture and tech innovation because of Ashwini energy. Ashwini is about speed, all about speed. And we may see some major announcements regarding high speed transports, or because or even medical breakthroughs also, because Ashwini is very famous for medical breakthroughs, because of the Ashwini Kumaras, the divine physicians. So the world moves from a kind of a new phase, I would say, in the areas of medical breakthroughs and high speed transport. So this is what I can see. And now, if you talk about the wars and all, it is moving from peace talks to some kind of power moves. Because Pisces or Revati Nakshatra, this energy is the sign of the diplomat and the peacemaker energy. International relations during this time are often characterized by some kind of soft power and behind the scenes negotiations. But as this Aries or Ashwini energy is basically activated, and it is ruled by Mars and Ketu, because as Aries is ruled by Mars and Ashwini is ruled by Ketu, it's a completely a kind of warrior energy, and Ketu is very very independent in nature. So after March 20, after 26th March, that is today, after this, global leaders will definitely likely become more assertive and individualistic, right? And cooperation might take a back seat here. So everybody thinks my country first. My country first policies will come into the picture. So, and even if there are any treaties encouraging the concept of my country first, may be signed very quickly, but they could also be broken just as fast as they are signed, because they may not have some immediate purpose, because Ashwini energy is a kind of quick energy and it may not last for long. So that kind of energy you can see in the worldly level. So that is the whole, but the positive thing is this collective health and healing, because Ashwini is the nakshatra of the healers. So this transit, it marks a worldwide focus on physical vitality also, because Ashwini energy is very very young. It is very vital energy. People feel like taking care of their health more compared to the situation before 25th March. Now people may want more physical energy, physical vitality, or kind of things, a kind of rapid recovery medical treatments people may seek for. So there's a kind of collective awakening from the sleepy lethargic energy of the Pisces Revati. Now it's an awakening period for all the world also. So totally I would say this particular move is a kind of, it has mixed impact. It has a mixed impact because the diplomatic planet Venus is coming out of the Saturn Sun frictional energy. It's no more adding any diplomatic energy in Saturn and Sun. So Saturn and Sun, if you talk about that conjunction, it actually reminds every astrologer about some kind of terrorist is attacking a world leader, kind of that kind of energy, or terroristic event kind of energy. That is the energy. It's the Sun Saturn energy is not, the combination is not so comfortable. I want to tell you, it's frictional. It has a lot of friction, And in that friction, till now, Venus added some kind of diplomacy, but now it is not at all adding. And that is the whole energy. And then the Venus is in Ashwini. So, yes, people may seek for more gym kind of activities, or vitality improvement activities, healing related activities, and things will be moving faster. It is adding speed to the existing mixture of components. This Venus in Ashwini is adding, it is speeding up the things from 25th March onwards. Things will be moving a bit forward. It is adding some kind of speed, because Ashwini is about speed. That speed is, you cannot imagine that much speed you cannot expect in any other nakshatra. Very, very quick, right? So, and also fresh and new things will be coming into the stage, onto the stage. That's what I can clearly feel. It's impulsive. The energy of Ashwini is very, very impulsive. It is very competitive also. It's disruptive, you can say, and it is focused on technology, defense, and any kind of new ventures, right? So bold energy also, very you can expect some bold takes, right? So this is the overall picture. Thanks for watching this video.